Good morning. This is Nancy Fath from Joy Wellness and CBD, and I'm so excited to be here with Jennifer Savage of Duxbury Wellness. And Jennifer's a beautiful licensed massage therapist who does all kinds of healing work. And she has a couple of things she's also really passionate about on the side. So she may sneak that in and tell you about it. So welcome this morning. How are you? Thank you for coming
I'm,
on to our little chat.
thank you so much. I'm doing really well. Thank you for
Mhm.
having me. I am, like Nancy said, a licensed massage therapist. I've been doing this work for about 14 years now, which I can't believe, but I just love it. I really, really love it. So,
I've known you
uh,
for I've known you for over 5 years, probably more
yeah.
than that, and since every time you talk about it, you are so present and you just exude joy, and it's so obvious you're in the right profession for yourself because you
Yes.
love on people, you know the body, you do really good work, and what I want part of why I wanted you to come on today to talk about massage therapy is we're exploring the dimensions of wellness, and I don't think people
Mhm.
realize the scope of what massage actually does for our well-being. It's not just a muscle ache. So I want to have some opportunity for you to chat about that. But let's
Yeah.
first start with like how you got into massage. Like, well, what's your little bit about your story?
All right. So it literally happened. I was working with children who have autism, and um, one of my coworkers was just all stressed out. She's like, right here hurts so much. And I just casually reached over and started rubbing her shoulder. And she went, oh my God, you should go to school for this. I said, actually, I really want to. And she stopped and she turned. She said, you know that there's a fantastic school that's 15 minutes from here, and you don't even have to get on the highway to get there. And so I called them, and that night I was at open house, and 2 weeks later I was in classes learning how to be a massage therapist and learning how to use my body correctly, so that I'm not just using my hands and getting tired in 2 minutes. um
Wow, that's something you just said that
so
really struck me. Using my body correctly. I'm sure I
yes.
know myself, I've done things and noticed when I haven't moved properly and my body lets me know. And I started
Yeah.
yoga during the pandemic, just not even a heavy duty program every morning for like 20 to 30 minutes. And I can't believe the difference when I go to reach something, I'm reaching with my full body, or if I twist or
Right.
turn. And so that's something that I bet when people work with you, they actually get sort of educated on how to
Yes.
work their body as well.
Yes, absolutely. What most people, and I definitely want to touch on this a little bit more anyway, but we need to learn how to hit the pause button in our lives. And so many people are just going, 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 especially if they've got kids, they're on a sports teams.
Mhm.
There's so many things that people just are going full speed ahead. And massage is that pause button that some people need. But more than that, it's getting people in touch with their bodies, especially when you're going through that go 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 phase that so many of us are in. And
Mhm.
I'm guilty. When I'm not working, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, go. um and Massage is a way to just hit that pause button and go, oh, I didn't even know that muscle was hurting. I didn't know this was happening in my own body.
Mhm.
And we live in our bodies, but we don't really. If
No, we
that
don't.
makes any sense. Because we're just going. And I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, 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 you're good. No, I'm excited because
Um,
I know for a while there, way back, I'd say when my kids were, I don't know, it's probably 10. Well, my dad's gone 12 years. I started doing massage
mhm.
consistently to help me grieve and to help me process. Because when he
Yeah.
passed away, it was like over 12 years ago, there was so much in my body and so much unresolved stuff. And I had a great relationship with my father. I loved him, but there's still always
Mhm.
unresolved things when they pass. And
Yeah.
sometimes some of it dates back a bit. And so I found I was going for massage every 2 weeks 2 hours a session for, I'd say, a good 6 months.
Yeah.
And I would get on
Good
that
for
table,
you.
I'd get on that table and I just would be like, do whatever I need, right? But then once, invariably, when I got on the table, I would find that, emotions would start to be released. So
Mhm.
it was really healing. Or that,
Yeah.
if I had pain in one area, it would be so interesting how the massage therapist at the time would work an area I never expected to release the pain in the other area. And I think just
Yes.
even having the experience, not only for healing, but having the experience, so you start to get how interconnected your body is and how important it is to move
Yes.
correctly. You know,
Absolutely.
it,
Yeah.
it's just not something I think, at least when I was growing up, we were taught,
Mhm.
because it was like you did a certain sport and you learned that sport and you learned what was around there. But there's a lot of other, the fascia and different muscles and just different things, the way the body works, that,
Right.
should be tended to as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So true. And it's so interesting when people come in and their shoulders are way up here and they're talking at, such a fast rate because their lives have been go, go, go for so long. And they come out and their shoulders are back and down and they're breathing a little bit more and they're going, wow, I just feel so different and so much better. Thank you. And
Mhm,
it's so rewarding to me to see that transformation in that person. Um, and I always say, now that you're listening to your body,
mhm,
do you have time in your day to practice self care?
mhm,
Do you have time to go to the beach and sit by the ocean? Do you have time to curl up with a good book? Um, Whatever it is, do you have time to meditate, to make a list of the things that you're grateful for, do some yoga, whatever it is
mhm,
your body is craving right now,
mhm,
that's what your body needs the most. And after a massage, a lot of times people are more open to that message of what it is that their body really needs, that their mind, their soul, that they need the most. And that is always something that I like to leave people with. When they leave the session,
mhm,
take some time for yourself. If you can do it every day, that's even better.
mhm.
But after a massage, a lot of times people have already hit that pause button in their lives. If they don't have to rush right back to their chaotic, and I don't mean chaotic in a bad way, I mean it's just the fullness of their life. If they don't have to run right back to that after their session and they have time to just kind of stay in that pause mode,
Yeah.
even better,
Oh my
even
gosh. Oh my gosh. It's just you describing those self-care tips in the way that you do right now.
better.
I can feel myself softening. There's just such a love and a compassionate presence that you hold for them, like a stake in the ground, like, and so it's an invitation, yet
Mhm.
there's a sense of, like, giving them permission, because I think a lot of people,
Yes.
especially women, men too, they don't give themselves permission to
No.
do that. They figure they have one
Right.
speed, it's on or off,
Yes.
2 speeds. And not all of them, not all of them. I'm not trying to,
Right.
I live in a house with mostly men, so I get that. But it takes some rewiring and some reprogramming to make this
Mhm.
part of what goes on your calendar. And I
Yes.
encourage people local to, the South Shore, or even Boston in, general, to take a trip
Mhm.
down to Duxbury. I've been to your office. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's very peaceful. I know you're there with
Mhm.
Allie. We heard from Allie, as well
Oh,
this week.
good.
And yeah, and so I think that, just even having one session to get a feel for what your body's asking for. And I'm sure
Right.
Jennifer will guide you to, what's trying to happen for you for some consistent self-care, because you do have
Right.
these conversations.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Mm,
And, you know, part of it also is creating an atmosphere, which I think we have at Duxbury Wellness, of trust and safety.
mm,
And you can't provide that atmosphere, the person who's getting on the table, who's trusting me to keep them safe, um, they're not going to be able to relax. And if I can't do that, I need to approach it differently. And I would definitely say that massage therapy does require some trust. But it's it's a wonderful way to get back in touch with where you're holding your own tension, and where I hold my tension might be different from where you hold yours, Nancy, and where
Mhm.
anybody who's seeing this is holding their tension. It might be in their low back or their neck or their shoulders, wherever it is.
Mhm.
Um, I like to say that, and actually one of my clients came up with this. She asked me if I am learning different languages. And I wasn't quite sure what she meant by that, but she meant the different types of massage that I can bring to the table, using it as a language, and each body has a language that it responds to. So
Oh,
that so that when I'm just going through, and if I had just a regular routine that I did every single time, we
mm,
start with this side of the back and we move to this side of the back, that's not going to work for everybody.
mhm,
And some people are coming to me with an injury and they're in physical therapy and they want that injured area worked on. And what I love is that there are classes that I can take to learn different languages,
mm,
um, so that I can bring what my client needs to the table.
mm. It's so interesting because I'm thinking when I've been on the table and even the gestures or the touch or how much pressure is put on at different times or
Mhm.
transitions. Like I've really noticed that in massage with a good
Yeah.
therapist. And I've yet to get on your table just because I was in Springfield so much, but now that I'm back, we'll be on your
Yes,
table. And
I will look forward to it.
yeah,
Yes.
and the body, like I think one of the takeaways that I got from going to massage consistently was a heightened body awareness when I
Yes.
wasn't on the table. So
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
better equipped to listen to the signals my body was giving. I wouldn't
Yes.
necessarily freak out so much if I had a pain and think, "Oh, I got to take up ibuprofen to get rid of this pain." I would ask
Mhm.
my body, "What do you need?" And
Abs
I think that is such a value add for people when they work with you, is that they
Mhm.
actually are better attuned to their own body's wisdom, their innate wisdom and their innate,
Yes.
senses and signals that can help
Yes.
keep them better and see those cues before they drive themselves so hard that they have some trauma. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I just want to weave in one thing that you've told me before. I know this little secret thing about you that is just, God, I love it. And I believe, I make up that it's one of the ways that it is your passion, and it's one of the
Mhm.
ways that you practice self-care and self-love of yourself and your community.
Mhm.
And it involves a little creature called the bees. And
Oh, I love
if you
them.
don't mind sharing, I just want people to get how being a solopreneur, having your own business, taking time for self really is a broad experience for well-being. So can you
Yes,
just share a little bit about the bees and so people know? And
absolutely.
yeah, I think it's kind of interesting.
So I have been a beekeeper for about 6 years, and I work on the bees with my dad, which is fun because when you're little, your dad is your coach for your sports teams, and then when you become an adult, there isn't as much that you can do with your parents.
Mhm.
And my father and I found this love of beekeeping. And you go inside the hive, and it's a world in itself. Each one of the bees has a job that it's doing, and they might be crawling all over each other, doing their jobs. Um, but they don't get upset. They're just doing their thing. They're all working together for the health of the hive. And so we get in there and it's just beautiful. It's almost meditative to watch them. And what I want people to take away from this is not to be afraid of the bees. The honeybees do not want to sting you. You can walk right up to a bush that has flowers on it and touch the flower that one of the bees is on. And they might, they know you're there, but they don't care.
Mm.
Their job is to get the pollen and the nectar that is going to help the plant that they're on and bring that back to the hive that's going to help the rest of the hive survive. So
Such a lesson
it's,
for us as humans, right? On how we could get along and find our roles and, work together collaboratively. Like, oh my God.
yeah, yeah, I think we have so much more in common than we remember.
Mhm.
Um, and I hope we're starting to get back to that place where we realize that there's more in common than in discord. So
Mhm. And just sort of creating a way to do stuff together constructively,
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
One last question on the bees. Is there any
Mhm.
way, I know I'm not really that familiar with bee species. I've had some wasp encounters that haven't been good. Um, when you see, is a honeybee like what people would say is a yellow jacket? It's not the bumblebee
No,
with the fur. Like, how do you know that you have the right bee? Because some bees are not as friendly, I think.
that's true. That's true. So honeybees are little and they're
Oh,
covered in fur, their whole body.
oh,
But they're only, I mean, this is not showing, they're tiny.
oh,
And they do have the brown and yellow stripes on their body. A yellow jacket is much more elongated.
okay.
Uh, the honeybees are much more compact, and they're just the sweetest little things.
Well, if what Jennifer's saying about the bees touches your heart, I encourage you to use Google. It's your friend, and just look at the
Mhm.
distinctions. So when you see them in your yard, you can honor the honeybees. And it's important that we care for others as well for our own
Yeah.
well-being. So what any
Yes.
takeaways from massage that you would like people to know? And then we'll talk about how people can get in touch with you and find you and come for a session.
Sure. Well, I have to actually look because I did make some notes.
Okay.
And I think I did kind of touch on it. It's just about the self-care and just hitting the pause button in your own life.
Mm.
And if you need to schedule that or with a massage or whatever, if it needs to go into your calendar so that you're taking that time for yourself, go for it. Do
Do it.
it.
Do it.
Um,
Yeah.
do it. What there's nothing better than to take, well, I'll put it this way. When you take care of yourself, it's a lot easier to take care of the others in your lives too.
Mm.
So,
And when you schedule
um,
it, it's a lot easier to not feel guilty and to give yourself permission to do it consistently. And it can.
exactly.
If you take, one tip I've had with calendars and things is be sure you have a calendar that has enough space for lots of time. There's
Mhm.
actually a lot of time in a waking day. So you can put that
Yes.
in and still get a lot done and just see
Right.
that visual for yourself. So
Right. Right. And it's okay when those things creep up that always do. It's okay to say no, I have something else going on at that time and I can't do whatever it is.
yes, I
It's
have an
okay to say
appointment. I'm
that.
sorry, can we meet at this time? And nobody has
Yes,
to know it's your
absolutely.
massage or it's your good trip to the beach or it's your journaling session. Like you get to do that. So,
Abs- and definitely if you can, give yourself that permission.
mhm.
Don't let other people or other things get in the way of your self-care.
What a beautiful way to
So,
end. So your website, so people know how to get in touch with you.
yeah, it is duxburywellness.com. And there is a little blurb in there about what I do. I didn't touch on different modalities today, but there is, there are some pretty cool things that are offered at Duxbury Wellness. We are at 33 Railroad Avenue in Duxbury. And the phone number, if people want that,
Mhm.
is 781 934 0020. And I look forward to our session. Thank you so much, Nancy. It was
W-
wonderful being here with you today.
Wonderful to be with you. And thank you, Jennifer, for the work you're doing in the world on all levels. We so appreciate you. Have a
Thank you.
beautiful day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.